Hello and happy Medical Billers Network Live Day and Friday Eve. I hope you guys are having a spectacular day. My name is Jasmine Villiers. If you are brand new in this space, you have made it to the Medical Billers Network Live here on Inlera University's channel. In this space, we focus on eliminating the stress and confusion in the business of healthcare. And on Thursdays, we talk to our medical billers or aspiring medical billers in the house. So when you get here, let me know that you're here and answer our question of the day. Today's question of the day is, do you consider yourself a medical billing master? Do you consider yourself a medical billing master? Answer that question for us. Let me know in the comments when you get here that you are here, and share that question of the day. I'm realizing that I have like so many things open today because we're having a fun conversation that requires notes just because I don't want to forget things. And so I'm like scanning, like, where's the best place to put things? Hi, Angelica. Great to see you. No, not a medical billing master yet. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. So today we are talking about, oh, hi. I love it. Hi, Connie. I just accidentally clicked on another comment. There we go. All right. Hi, Connie. Good to see you. Not a master yet. We're going to get there. Victor, not a master yet. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. So when you guys get here, let me know that you're here by putting an answer to that question of the day in the comments. Today, we are talking about mastering medical billing, and specifically talking about mastering medical billing with us here at University. We've had a lot of great questions come in because we are nearing the next start date for the incoming class of medical billing mastery that starts on March 11th. I still almost got it wrong. I just asked Nicole right before we went live on March 11th. So I'm here to answer questions. I have some questions that already came in. I'm also just going to go over the program so that you guys understand what it's about. And then also I want to take questions if you have them automatically, if you have them off the top of your head. Automatically. All right. So here we go. I'm a little loopy today. I just sipping on my second cup of coffee. And it's just that kind of afternoon that I needed another one. So let's see. Hi from New Jersey. No, looking forward to becoming one. I love that. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us, Lisa. I hope to be the one to help you through that. Nicole, I thought you were trying to get my attention. You're like waving your hand in the camera. That was funny. All right. So I'm going to do housekeeping real fast. If you're brand new here, I do housekeeping for the first few moments for us to just kind of touch base. And so you guys get to get caught up on what's been going on around the parts. And when you get here, just answer the question of the day. I want to make sure that you guys see there we go. You guys let me know whether you're medical billing masters or not yet. So this week we're talking about mastering medical billing with us. We obviously do that here on the channel. We do quite a lot of conversation around mastering medical billing. However, specifically going to talk about the program that we have with us here at Inlera University. Last week denials and rejections and open practice solutions. So open practice, we went into the software. We took a look a little bit at claim rejections and what it looks like to review claim rejections. And I talked conceptually about claim rejections. If you missed that video, you can find that on the channel under lives, and you can also find it probably in some sort of playlist that Nicole has curated for us as well, related to rejections and denials. 5 tips to reduce claim rejections was the week prior to. So if you had not been able to really wrap your head around rejections and want to get the full rundown of rejections and how to reduce rejections, we're talking about ways to plug the holes to hopefully eliminate rejections from even appearing. So we talked heavy prevention a couple of weeks ago on our live stream. Again, that was a live stream 2 weeks ago. So just go to Lives tab and you should see that title in the Lives tab. All right, let's see. Oh, Nicole punched her mic. That's why you were waving at me. I thought you were just waving at me. I was like, hi. All right, here we go. I see a couple of comments coming in. Hello. Oh, that's you. That's Nicole. Okay. That's funny. I was like, wait. Okay. Here we go. So if you here and you do not know who we are Inlera. And you can, if you like the content here on Inlera University, Inlera, we produce content related to medical billing, revenue cycle management, practice management, credentialing, all things related to the business of healthcare. So the back end. So we don't talk clinical, but who knows? We might bring somebody on, have a good clinical conversation, talk about workflow and things like that. But mostly focused in the business of healthcare here in this space. And so if you are curious about hanging out with us in other places on the interweb, you can find us with all these links on the screen. You can scan the little QR code if you're watching from your computer, and it'll take you to our links page, and you can find all of those special links there. Yay, we're active on all these places, and X is no longer on the list. I like that. We've decided we're just not going to produce on that platform. But we love all the other ones, and been doing some stuff on TikTok. If you're into TikTok, I'd love to know what you want to see on there. I'm a new TikToker. I'm literally a student of TikTok right now because I have not had a lot of experience in there. It wasn't just not my platform. So I'm learning. And so you can teach me if there are things that you're like, here, you should do videos like this. So I'm happy to be a student if you guys want to teach me how to serve you in the TikTok world. If you are brand new here and you're watching from any place, if you're specifically watching from YouTube, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. They will let you know when we go live and post videos or community posts, so that you can stay in the loop. Also, if you're on the other spaces and places, be sure to give us a thumbs up or a heart. That just lets the algorithm gods know that you like what you're watching. All right. And my friends who have no idea what Inlera is, Inlera, we are a full functioning medical billing and consulting company. We focus primarily in the revenue cycle. We don't do credentialing as a service any longer. I do have someone that was actually our director of credentialing that is still doing credentialing. So if you need credentialing services, happy to refer you to her. And also from the revenue cycle management services, we have birthed our baby here on Inlera University. That's what you're experiencing. It's education. So obviously free education in the platforms of YouTube and other places and spaces, and also have courses like we're going to be talking about today. And so Mastering Medical Billing is what we're chatting about today. It's for folks who are interested in getting into the field of medical billing. Even if you got thrown into it, it's going to be the thing that'll help you feel more confident on the job. And Medical Billing 101, if you're just kind of get a sense for what the heck medical billing is, you just have no idea whether or not it's something that you really would want to do, Medical Billing 101 would be the thing that you would start with. It's under $100. And if you want to do the Medical Billing Starter Bundle, that gets you the language of billing as well as the Medical Billing 101. And it'll just get you headed in that direction. At the end of the course, I give you the qualities of a medical biller. So if you feel like you fit the bill, so to speak, or you want to develop those skills, then it might be the field that you want to move into. In addition to that, there's other options that I give you at the end. If you didn't really like the concept of medical billing, then we'll talk about what else is there. If you're still interested in healthcare, what else is there? All right, so let's get this party started. Today, you may not need a pen and paper, but we're going to say grab it just in case, because if you haven't noticed, I can talk a little fast. If you're watching me on any platform, you can probably slow me down or pause me at any point in time. And feel free, if you have questions that come up, you scan that QR code, or if you just visit the description box of wherever you're watching from, you should see our links page to be able to get in touch with us in all the places and spaces. All right, my friends, let's get going. Let's get out of this, baby. Okay. All right, so mastering medical billing. So here's the deal. Mastering medical billing. I'm going to go over the course. I'm going to go over who it's for. Let's talk about exactly what's included in it. I want to talk about why I think this type of course is better for someone who's going into medical billing as a profession versus someone who might be on the fence of potentially going into coding. And then we're really going to go over a lot the other questions that I see already there, like how much is it? Someone asked, how long is the course? How much is the course? So those are all really great questions that I get quite often. And so we're going to just run through a preview of the course first, and I'll talk about some of those nitty gritty. I also have some questions that have come in, and I want to make sure that we get to those. So if you have questions as I'm talking or that come up after, feel free to pop them into the comments, whether it's while we're here on live or after the fact, and we will make sure to do a follow-up on this conversation. All right, so mastering medical billing. Let's talk about what the heck is it. So it is a 16-week medical billing training course. Now, we do talk about other areas of the revenue cycle to get you foundationally understanding where medical billing fits in. So I always touch on the full picture of the revenue cycle because I believe that you must understand the full picture in order to be effective as a medical biller. So we do cover that. However, it is focused in physician-based medical billing. So if you are someone who likes hospital-based, facility-based billing, we touch on it very, very briefly. It is not a full course on hospital billing, which means facility billing. All right. or institutional billing. I don't focus heavily on that. We touch on it a little bit and we'll talk about conceptually some of the differences and the code sets and things like that. However, the main focus is in physician-based billing, which means providers, medical offices, other doctors. When you think of doctors, the doctor's billing, all right? In case you're not super familiar with the differences between physician billing or providers. All those terms mean the same thing, all right? So let's see. Oh, Todd, you're welcome. Yay. Glad you got that. Thank you so much for playing. Oh, by the way, so Todd's talking about trivia, which is actually next week. So if you have never trivia'd with us before and you're just medical billing or just keep yourself fresh, we do trivia once a month. Always the first Thursday live stream is trivia, and you get a chance to win a gift card like Todd did. So we actually had first place and second place that get a gift card for our trivia parties. All right, so when we have our course, 16-week course, it's a flagship program. So for us, it's a bigger program. It is the meat of what we want to train you in. So there are mini courses that we would consider much shorter, fully self-paced courses. All right. Medical Billing 101 is an example of that. You purchase the course, you watch it whenever you want. You can rewatch it whenever you'd like. You don't have an instructor that you're moving along with, and you don't necessarily have a specific timeline that you have to complete the course itself. All right. So you are free to move about self-paced courses as you choose. Our Mastering Medical Billing training program is a course that we will ask for you to pace along with the teacher. So teacher being me. So we will ask that you stay in sync with the instructor for the course because we want to keep everybody on the same page. We want to make sure that the questions in some way or another are somewhat related when we get on our calls weekly. And so when we talk about 16 weeks together, there are that we'll be talking more frequently, and there are other weeks that it's a little bit more focused around some independent work. It's very important, however, that you are keeping up with some of the work because we want to make sure that everyone is staying together. All right, so 16 weeks together. So that's about 4 months. If you, are like me, I had to double check that with Nicole. Like 16 weeks, that's 4 months, right? And the goal with this course is that you feel like you have confidently prepared yourself for a job, a role in medical billing. All right. So here is the thing. There are a lot of coding and billing programs out there. Medical billing and coding is often taught in one package, and a lot of other programs spend so much more time in medical coding, and they kind of throw you into the deep end when you get to the job because medical billing is not covered enough. And the medical billing is definitely the part that is a little harder to wrap your head around when you are thrown into a particular practice that you don't have a mentor or someone that's kind of taken you under their wing. All right. So the goal at the end of this program is that you are actually prepared for medical billing, for an actual profession. You're actually prepared for the profession of medical billing. I'm telling you guys, today's one of those days of my coffee's, it's coming, I think. So here's the thing. Let's talk about exactly who would find this type of program valuable. So I don't necessarily believe that everybody who is a medical biller needs training such as this or another type of program like this. The way that you can make yourself potentially, we'll call yourself dangerous, meaning ready to do a fantastic job, is if you have someone that is like ready to mentor you and pour all of their knowledge into you. However, taking that with a grain of salt that you don't know what they don't know, which means that you were kind of at the mercy and hoping that this individual has all of the knowledge that is going to help you along the way when potentially they aren't there, right? Let's say someone is training you. I'm a medical biller and I'm about to retire, and I bring in my new hire, and I'm like pouring all my knowledge into this new hire, and it's great. However, new hire doesn't know that I actually don't really know very much about medical billing, and I've just been kind of throwing things at the wall and hoping, and I almost give information in a way that sounds like it's rules and these are what you must do and here's what you have to do, versus being honest and saying, I really don't know, and so this is what I believe to be true, or what I believe to be the best scenario. And so there are many of us that learn by way of our predecessors, that learn because someone else has trained us in a particular way, and only to find out months and weeks and years later that we didn't learn something really important, or we didn't learn it properly. So it is helpful that even if you are trained by someone, unless you know that maybe they're certified or they have been teaching, for example, other billers or something along those lines, like you feel comfortable and confident that they've disseminated, they've transferred this knowledge, and the knowledge is truth. All right. That's our hope, right? The knowledge actually is going to support you in your career. Then we're good. I don't think you need training. If you are on the other side of that, and you're someone who does not have confidence in the person that maybe has trained you, or you have no one there to train you. I know there were so many of you like that. I was like that, and I had no one available to train me. And so when that happens, sometimes we can be left trying to figure things out, and it's a really hard journey. So Mastering Medical Billing would be for you if you are someone who is getting into the field of medical billing and kind of been thrown in. If you are someone who is trying to get into healthcare and wants the potential of a remote position eventually, then medical billing could also be for you. And I say this if you and I'm not going to talk about the qualities of someone that might be interested, but if you are someone that has been familiar, or maybe taken the Medical Billing 101, and you're kind of familiar with the concept of being a medical biller, and it seems attractive to you, but you're in a totally different field and are just like, I think I could do that, right? Watched enough TikTok videos to believe I can do that, right? If that's the case, then Mastering Medical Billing is for you, because it's going to get you prepared for the field of healthcare, and also fully understanding what the revenue cycle is, and specifically what a medical biller does, and how you can be dangerous as a medical biller. All right. Next is if you are someone who wants to do medical billing and actually be prepared a position as a medical biller in less than 5 to 6 months. And I say that because it also is going to mean if you wanted to get certified, you might also go out and take your CPB. So this program is only about 4 months, but if you went out and wanted to do your CPB, that's your certified professional biller certification after the course, you'd want to give a couple of months for that as well. If you're someone who wants that training within that shorter period, less than 6 months, because there are some programs out there that are 18 months or even 2 years, some of the technical schools I've seen. If you're someone who's ready to kind of get out there and do this, this as a profession, then medical billing is probably, the Mastering Medical Billing program is probably the one for you. If you are someone who is in healthcare and you're like working front desk, or doing something kind of in the clinical sense, I just had a meeting with a provider this week, actually, who is wanting to enter into medical billing because they're burnt out, and absolutely honoring the fact that not everyone wants to stay in their careers for 30 years and they want to change, right? If you've been someone who've been in the clinical side and you've been working 12-hour days for 15, 20 years, and you're just ready for a change of pace, but want to stay somewhat in your healthcare field because it's familiar, and you know the coding, you know the industry well enough, then Mastering Medical Billing could be the thing. It'll get you a lot more time and freedom, potentially an opportunity for you to work from home in some cases, right? An opportunity to leverage other skills that maybe you haven't been able to tap because you've been engaged with patients on a day-to-day basis. So So those are just some, like, if you identify with any of those, and absolutely mastering medical billing is for you. There's probably a bunch more things that types of qualifiers or questions, but those are just things that from frequently represented individuals that have taken the course that come to mind that I just wanted to share in case any of those kind of personas or that stage in life is where you are. All right, so let's talk quickly about what is included in Mastering Medical Billing. So Mastering Medical Billing is a program. So it's not just a class that has textbooks. It's not just a kind of a linear thing, okay? So there is a textbook included. So there is a textbook that is included in the course. There are modules included, which are pre-recorded online modules, okay? That means you can go out there and watch them when you have the time. There are also live streams, not live streams really, live meetings. So us being able to get together on a call on a weekly basis, we call them office hours. They're live office hours that are set aside for some teaching, but mostly focused around Q&A, so questions and answers. So things that you're learning at the moment, whether or not in this modules or some situational things. Like we have folks that have taken mastering with us in the past that are working as billers. Like I said, they got thrown into the deep end and they're trying to kind of figure out how to be dangerous at their jobs, how to be really fantastic medical billers, how to be masters at medical billing. And they're using the course along the way to help them. So they come to the Q&A, the office hours with Q&As that are related to what they're doing on the job, which can be very, very helpful for us and the others in the program as well. And so that is also something that that takes place. We also have community access. So we have a private community, kind of functions similar to like a Facebook group type environment. So there's ability for us to talk to each other, for me to post updates. That's where you'll also get reminders about office hours and get to those links and so on. And that information, the community access will be a legacy access. So we recently moved to a platform that is like the hub for our education, and that platform will have legacy access for anybody from here on out, from last program moving forward, last cycle moving forward. That will all be in there. So if there are questions that come up and folks that have already graduated from the program could support and give you answers, or I pop in there and give answers as well. And so the community, the private community is a really great resource. And again, it's legacy. So the opportunity there is for you guys to continue to network and learn from each other as time goes on. The language of billing is included. So language of billing is just that. It is what are all of the healthcare jargon, those terms that we use that nobody else uses. When we like speak in our little gang talk to people in healthcare, and you will learn all of that and we drill it. So it's really just almost in a way that it's, you're kind of quizzing yourself on flashcards and things like that. And I say flashcards, but they're digital flashcards. They're in Quizlet, as well as us having modules where I go over them as well. So language of billing is just very, very helpful because there's so many terms that you just want to become familiar with while you're also learning medical billing, because you're going to just hear them constantly. And so when you are either applying for a job or you're in a new position, it just helps you to sound like you know exactly what you're talking about when you're using the proper terms, right? Like if someone comes in and wants to apply for a position, and instead of using the word claim, they're using the words invoice or something like that. My question is, how much experience do they have? And is it because they've only worked in one software or one specialty that had an antiquated system that only referred to it as an invoice? And those kinds of things immediately are flags, right? And so there are a lot of other other jargon that we use in healthcare that if someone is looking to get a position as a medical biller, we would know almost immediately that they do not have the knowledge or the expertise that's necessary to be comfortable as a medical biller in our practice or medical billing company. All right. Next is Medical Coding 101. So we have a Medical Coding 101, which is the foundational resource that you really would need as a medical biller with a focus on medical billing, and you aren't planning to do medical coding in addition to Medical Coding 101 is going to give you the foundation of what you need. And if that gives you, that kind of opens the door for you to decide that you want to be a medical coder too, that could be the thing. But the course itself is included, Medical Coding 101. CPB readiness coaching is also included. So what is included in CPB readiness coaching is included in Mastering Medical Billing. So you get the voucher to take CPB readiness coaching anytime after you have completed Mastering Medical Billing. And I say that because there are some people who are like, I don't have any interest in getting certified. I don't need it, or I don't necessarily want to force myself to do it immediately after I'm done taking the course, taking the program, right? I respect that. And I don't want to make it that you're required to do CPB as a part of our program. In addition, don't want you to feel like you have to do that right away. All right. So it is a voucher that you will get. You have a credit to do that whenever you'd like. So if you chose to do it right after, awesome. If not, you do it next year, right? But what's included in CPB, I'll talk about in a moment, but just know that you are welcome to CPB readiness coaching. And we also have hands-on labs. So the opportunity to get into a software, see me move around, understand a little bit more what exactly takes place in the revenue cycle from an insider view, not just conceptualizing things, and also bringing on people that can also speak to areas that maybe we aren't going far in detail about in our course book, in our textbook, because there are some things in the textbook that we're using. And to be totally honest, I'll talk about the textbook in a moment, that don't go far enough into detail that we need as a medical biller, and some things that goes too far into detail that we do not need as a medical biller. And so I want to, being able to bring experts in to have you guys learn from them is very important to me, especially folks that are taking the course, what might be relevant to those individuals. So if, let's say I've got 4 people that are in the course and they're all from dentistry, right? They're all interested in going into dentistry. I would obviously want to bring a dental biller in to have, or dental, practice manager in to have a conversation about dental billing. So that they feel more clear about what, again, I don't know everything, and I definitely don't know enough about dental to help, but I would absolutely love to bring on people that will serve the student population in that particular program. So that is what's included. So we have textbooks, modules, community access, language of billing, medical coding 101, CPB readiness coaching, office hours, and then the hands-on labs. All right, so let's quickly talk about just the course textbook. As I mentioned already, the course textbook is included. It is an e-textbook that's included. So if you're someone who likes to have a physical textbook, you're welcome to go out and purchase that, and I can give you the credit amount for what I would pay for the e-textbook. We don't do the physical textbook because they're just so much more expensive these days. But if you're someone who really, really needs those, you're welcome to that. The book that we use comes through Cengage, which has a really great app that kind of makes it easier. And I just learned this week from one of my students that you actually can have the textbook be read to you if you have the app. So you can hit the button and it'll read the textbook to you, which I thought was really cool. I was like, oh, I didn't even know about that, because I actually I haven't downloaded the app before, to be totally frank. I've only interfaced with the textbook on the computer. So if you're someone who doesn't really love reading textbooks, you can actually use the Cengage app and have it read to you. So that's great. And you also can do things like bookmark and highlight and make notes and things like that. Now, I do pay for a certain period of the textbook for you. We've done 6 months of textbook use, but you can always extend it, and you can also buy it. So there's rentals, and then there's purchase price, just so you're aware of that. All right, Thinkific access. So our programs are on Thinkific. You will have lifetime access to rewatch Mastering Medical Billing modules at any point in time. You also will have access to to recordings that we've done in the program. Those come by way of Google. We share those in our Google Drive, and you will be able to go back and rewatch those recordings at any point. And so if you're like, I want to watch this one where Jasmine showed how to do this, resubmit these claims in Open Practice Solutions or something, you can go back and watch those. Same thing for the labs and any other interviews or lunch and learns that we might do together. Those will all be captured, and those videos will be recorded, and you can have access to that however long you need. And whenever, you want to go back and rewatch them, last couple of notes there, CPB readiness. So let's talk about CPB readiness. So CPB readiness coaching is a separate program, but it is included. Again, you get a voucher for that program when you purchase Mastering Medical Billing. So it is free for you when you have Mastering Medical Billing. The CPB readiness coaching program is getting you your test. It gets you your voucher to sit down for your CPB test with the AAPC. And it also includes the three practice exams. So it includes both things. So the practice exams and the test itself, the CPB test for you to sit. Most cases they're done virtually now, but you can do it in person if you like to be in person as well. But it gives you access to take both of those, or to use both of those things from AAPC. All right. I prepare you within our program. So we actually do coaching together. We move together with the program, and on a week by week basis, we are getting prepared and drilling specifically about the questions that are going to be, or not. We don't go over the actual questions. I don't have the actual questions. I have only examples from previous tests. I can't give you the answers. That would be cheating. but I do go over the concepts that are on the test to drill those concepts with you so that you feel prepared for the CPB exam. It's very different than Mastering Medical Billing, okay? Because Mastering Medical Billing, just to be super clear, we are focusing on getting you ready for a position as a medical biller. CPB is getting you ready for taking a test. You guys have to make sure that you wrap your head around the differences, because you may know this, but from having been in school in the past, but sometimes what's on the test isn't actually real life. All right. Sometimes the textbook knowledge and the exam information is in textbook and exam world. It doesn't happen in the real world. All right. And so preparing for the test is very, very different, especially as we talked about, if you're going to be a medical billing master, a lot of what AAPC even includes on their CPB exam is not stuff that we do as medical billers by day. What they even train people in on the CPB is very relevant for someone who is a medical biller and medical coder, because they are the American Academy of Medical Coders. But when you're a medical biller and you're focused primarily on the revenue cycle, truth be told, you don't spend much time in the medical coding world. But it's important for you to know medical coding foundationally. And if you're someone who really, really likes the idea of doing both, you can both. All right. And so, but know that the CPB exam does have some medical coding on it. I don't do medical coding. I've been in the field for 26 years. I think I forgot to mention that, I guess, at the beginning. But I've been in the field for 26 years, and I have only had to code on exams. When I've taken the CPC a bunch of years ago, God forgive me for that. I don't know why I ever did that. I'm not a coder, but I did take my CPC. That was my first certification. That was before there was ever a medical billing certification. The CPC, and then when I took my CPB, and that is it. I do not do medical coding, and I have been a medical biller for 26 years. So it is absolutely possible for you not to be a certified medical coder to do medical billing. However, I do know enough about medical coding, and I have gotten training in specialty specific medical coding because I needed to understand to be able to advise clients on specific things. All right. So it is helpful, not required. And I would prefer most of you, if you know that your niche is going to be a particular specialty, that you instead consider doing training in that specialty. An example is this person I had a meeting with this week who had questions about our courses was asking me about whether or not they should consider doing coding as a certification. And I said something similar to this, that I believe that if you are coming into a field and you want to be very, very clear about the industry and the ins and outs and the guidelines of that particular specialty, it's very, very helpful for you to get the medical coding training. However, if you are someone who is coming in with zero knowledge and you are kind of an open book as far as the specialty goes, and you don't really know what specialty is of interest to you, going out and getting a CPC may not help you. It might make it more challenging for you to have useful information that will actually help you break into the marketplace. Because so let's say I am a cardiology office. You having CPC with zero experience in cardiology I'm gonna be like, you're not really useful to me. Like you have zero experience as a coder and you have zero experience in cardiology. But instead, if I were to say, hey, this individual, not only do they have a CPB, but they also have a cardiology specialty certification for coding, I'm leaning towards that person. Same thing for things like orthopedists or whatever. Like if I know that this individual has specific training already in cardiology, it feels more relevant because coding is very broad. And when you do a CPC, it's quite broad. All right. So sometimes getting that medical coding can help you, but it also can kind of be just a little bit of a waste of time if you aren't necessarily sure what you want to do with it. Now, if you're someone who's been in the field of coding and you are in the field of healthcare and you already work in multiple specialties, CPC can help you, and it also can help you certify your knowledge. But it again might confuse you if you're someone who's brand new trying to break in and are hoping to be noticed or stand out in the world of healthcare when you're trying to go into a specific specialty. All right, I hope that makes sense. All right, so let's talk about start dates. So when does this program start? So this program, the next program starts on March 11th. That is a Monday. Okay, if you are someone who is concerned about the timing, I don't know what's going on in the middle of March. Just know St. Patty's Day. So you've got travel plans. The first week of the program is actually all module based. We don't have our first meetup until the second week. All right. So the first week of the program, March 11th, is you getting your textbook, you getting access to all the different pieces to kind of get things going, right? You'll have one assignment for reading and we meet the second week. All right. Just so you know, so you kind of have a little bit of a buffer there. I just would totally suggest make sure that you get in on that deadline, March 11th, and be prepared to start March 11th if possible. And if you're like too busy celebrating St. Patty's Day, I don't know when that is, but I'm probably not right with the date. I just know it's somewhere in the middle of the month now. So let's talk about quickly just what are the like technology pieces, because I've had people ask these questions about like, what do I need? You don't need anything other than a computer and internet, really. All right, so you do, and I say computer, you don't even necessarily need a computer. You could do this on your phone or your iPad, whatever. However, you might get tired of like looking at things on small devices, considering that we're talking about videos and things. But I know that there are people who live like that and that love to consume everything on their small devices. But if you feel more comfortable, a computer might be better. So yes, and the apps that we use are all web-based and also have applications as well. So for example, Google Meet is one that we would use for our office hours. You can log into Google Meet under an app, and you can also go from the browser. And the same is true for Google Drive and as I mentioned earlier, Cengage as well. So just keep that in mind if you're curious about the types of apps and programs that we use. Both are possible, the computer and the little devices, the phones and such. All right, so let's talk about other questions that have come in. So how to purchase, I'm gonna put at the very end because I'm gonna share a screen. Couldn't get the words out there. I'm gonna share a screen and show you guys because a lot of people have asked how to purchase, and I want to make sure you see the screen and know how to do that. All right. And then I had these questions about how we compare to APC. So here's my next question is how we compare to say APC's CPB, or like they have a biller training program is what they call it, or something like that. So first thing is that their program has, we're very, very similar. I was trying to pull up the list of things and I guess I closed it, but it's fine. They have their practice exams so they have like a bunch of different you guys go there and you're curious about it, they have a baseline one, which is just the program itself, or like the online pieces itself, and then there are other stages. The only things that their high end is like 5,000, and they almost always have it on some kind of discount or something. So their higher end medical coding books included. And there's something else. I got to go to the site because I can't remember what it is. So maybe I'll share that in just a second, because let's look at it together. So because I want to make sure that you guys are. I should have written this down. I just literally thought I was going to remember it. So, but the coffee hasn't started working. We're going to blame it on that. All right. I think I found it here. Okay, let me go to the next question. So would you be considered for, do we do training or opportunities for internships? So we have in the past given for certain individuals to interview with us as a company, as well as to do internship with us, meaning work for us without payment as internship, and then also an opportunity to be interviewed to be hired on. So both are possible in the program. I do not guarantee, because there are a lot of variables. It's like, do we have a need? Is there somehow that this person could be useful in our organization? Also, the consideration that the awareness and the knowledge needs to be there. So if someone has trouble with concepts, if someone's in internship stage, I would want them to already have conceptualized and like really retained the information to be ready to use that knowledge and information on the job, and not have that be a continuation of the training program, if that makes sense. So it would be really folks that are handpicked and selected for either internship and or the interviewing for a position with us. All right. So it's really important that you understand that it's not something that is extended to everyone. However, I'm an open book. If somebody is absolutely like ready to learn, I would love to continue helping to develop, and being able to give opportunities is like the thing. I mean, that's why I'm here. I like to make sure you guys have the information. So yeah. And then we've had a couple of questions already about how long that happened in the chat again. So how long it's about 4 months. Now, again, that's for the Mastering Medical Billing. If you chose to take CPB, that's another 9-week course that the coaching program, if you decided to do CPB after. And then you have a couple of other mini courses included. And so obviously, if you're someone who has a certain number of hours available and you can't do the mini courses in addition to be available for your coursework and things, then you might need extra time in addition to taking the Mastering Medical Billing. So the medical billing, how many hours that you would need to take the Mastering Medical Billing course per week is one of my next questions. And that particular answer is going to vary from person to person. My rough estimate would be somewhere between 3 and 4 hours a week, because if you factor in that we're on for our office hours 1 hour per week, we sometimes are on for labs another 1.5 hours per week, and then you have, and that's not every week the labs, but when we are, it's 1.5 hours, and then we have reading and other assignments that are taking place. So depending on how quickly you're consuming those the reading and doing the assignments after is going to determine how long it'll take for you as an individual. All right. So I hope that answers those questions. Let's look at the program here, because a lot of people, oh gosh, let's see if I can find this. Here we go. Hey, Nicole, can you try to find, I'm going to send you the link and try to find, there's like a comparison chart that I'm not finding right at this very second, but if you could try to find that and send it back to me. I'm going to share about our mastering costs and everything while we find that. So, because I have a screenshot, but I don't know where the actual link is. So, okay, let's share screen. Screen share. Hello, there you are. Okay, now this might seem silly, but we have had questions of how to purchase the course. So the course is on our course page on the website, all courses. It's also linked in the links that you guys will find anywhere on the underneath the description or over there in the chat that's been shared a couple of times. The links page or any of our socials all have the links page. You should see mastering medical billing as an option. If you end up at our website, the main page here, and you're here, you're going to just scroll down to mastering, or you can click on the programs and find the mastering medical billing there. All right. It'll take you back to this particular screen. All right. Now, you absolutely can read through and make sure that you're clear about what's included, what's expected, similar to what we just talked about. The intro to U.S. healthcare is also included, which I forgot to mention. And that one's not out yet, but when it's released, it will be included. And so that's one of the things. We do talk, obviously, the different carriers in the program, but there is a course as well. So there's all these things that are included. And then at the top of the screen there are the options for purchase. Now, there is an ability for you to get a preview of the course, and it just shows you one of the module videos. And so you can get a sense of what the interface looks like. You just click on this link and it'll ask you to log in to sign up to get the preview. And then if you're ready to purchase, you're going to go back to this page. You've got two options. You're either option one is paying in full and you're saving $401 for $199, or you can do 4 months at $600 a month. Now, let's say you want to do pay in full and consider doing another, I'm waiting for it to load, financing option that it might be even lower. And it's not up here. Oh no, I think I overwrote the button, Nicole, when I was in there yesterday. Okay, I'll have to fix that. But when you get into, yeah, because it's not set up right. I'll fix that. So this shouldn't be pay plan. When you get into this screen, there is an option here underneath select payment method that has Affinity or Affirm and like 3 other payment companies that are finance companies. We don't process the financing on that. You would have to, if you click on it, it will take you to those companies to apply. So I'm sorry that that's not able to be displayed. That's my fault because I was in there messing with it yesterday. I must have overwritten the link by mistake. But yeah, so that particular program does have if you wanted to do this, get the savings from our side, you could still save 401 and you can click on this button. We're going to get it fixed right now. And it will allow you to apply for, there's like 3 different companies that offer financing, and you can pay at a lower monthly rate to those individuals until the balance is paid off, and it would give you the pay in full. So you'd be working with those companies for the payment arrangement. All right. And so that gives you a potentially deeper payment option than the $600 a month for those four payments. All right. So no, what? I saw the wave. Chat. What am I saying? Hold on. Check the chat. I see it. Okay. Yes, that's the right one. Is that what you were telling me? The other chat. See it under the bundle. Oh, I hear you. Okay, so like under the medical billing starter bundle, this one? Okay, so use that as an example. Okay, let me see. Sorry, guys. We're having an internal conversation. So like under here. Let's see. Yep, there it is. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Nicole. Nicole to the rescue. Okay, so these are the other companies that I was saying. So there's Affirm, Afterpay, and Klarna. So these companies, when you click on them, it'll tell you here the possible options. And again, this is going to look a little different for the mastering medical billing, but it'll tell you like this is what the estimated could be, and you would just need to go through the process of applying with them. All right, so that's just an example of the what it looks like when you're clicking on these. So we'll fix it in the mastering, and you can kind of see. So if you're someone who would prefer to have a lower month payment and work with an outside finance company, then that's absolutely available to you. And our cost, if you're working with us on a payment, it's $600 for the 4 months, for four payments, excuse me. And again, pay in full. If you chose pay in full, you could still use these. So for us, you would save the $401, and for these guys, you would pay whatever that monthly payment is for the arrangement with those guys. All right. So Afterpay is like another one. So this one, I think Afterpay and Klarna are similar, where they split it up, and Affirm instead does you can change the term. So like Afterpay and Klarna, I think, do it like with a certain number of months, and then Affirm does it like over a certain term that you can select. So hope that helps. Let me just check. I saw questions coming in, so I want to make sure. So sorry guys for egging y'all. Sorry for, hi Tyra, hello. It's great to see you. Thanks for coming to hang out. Is it Aika? I like your name. Hi Aika from the Philippines. I hope you're having a lovely evening. So is it Ishfaq? Ishfaq Hassan. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Ishfaq. I love it. Oh, I thank you for asking. Melissa asked a really important question. What course are we talking about? We're talking about mastering medical billing. So on the program list here on our on our website is Mastering Medical Billing. So if you're looking for it, it's under programs, Mastering Medical Billing, and we also have it direct linked at the very top of our links page as well, if you are going to our links page. So I like it. You don't want to load up on degrees and certifications outprice. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's 100% true. You don't want to load up and get an outprice yourself or getting into a field or industry. That is such important advice. Tanya, I'm so sorry. I just realized I clicked over your message up there. Hi, happy Thursday. Tanya, you'll notice, has a little badge because Tanya is a member here on the channel. So if you guys aren't familiar with membership, here on YouTube, if you're watching from YouTube, there are memberships, and we have a couple of different levels. Our first level gives you these badges and gives you access to a couple of things. The second level gives us the live streams and other things. So take a look at those if you're interested and stay connected with us more deeply. We actually have separate lives for our members. So if you're someone who wants a little bit more information, a lot more deep dive, we have member Q&A that happen, and that is member only access. And we also have resources and things that we're loading up for members under the membership community page. They have their own areas here on YouTube as well. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right. So, oh, and you already answered that question. So there, just paying attention. No, you're so good. Yeah. So it's so fine. So the full course itself is actually for, let me share, I guess I don't need to share the screen again, I guess. The full course, if you pay it in full, it's $19.99. We also do a payment arrangement of four payments of $600, which is obviously higher. So if you pay in full, you save $401. But again, like I mentioned before, you can use one of those finance companies if you still want to take advantage of our pay in full to have the cost be less. So I love it. Yeah, that's so fun. We're like talking to each other background. Awesome. Thanks so much, Tyra. I'm so happy you've been hanging out with us. It's great to see you. Hi, I want to be natural. Hello. So great to see you. Thanks for coming to hang out. All right. So let me see if there's any other questions that I missed. Any other questions about the course that I missed, Nicole? Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. I saw the comment from Todd. I'm sorry. I skipped it. And the payers that keep changing their internal code rules, literally. Yeah, that's so true. I know the rules are constantly changing. That's kind of why I mentioned earlier about the importance of not going too far down the path in such a broad coding program, if that's something that you're interested in doing, because you're really, if you end up in a niche, for example, behavioral health, if you end up in a particular niche or a particular specialty, then you have all this information and this knowledge that's not really going to be useful to you. And so it could be helpful for you to go out and get more specialty specific training. And it may not even be by way of certification. Like sometimes we are attracted to the concept of getting certified in something when in fact, we don't necessarily need the certification, just the credentials. We need the information so that we can do our jobs, right? We don't always need the credentials to help us along the way. Sometimes in order for us to stand out in our positions, the information is going to do a much better job at that. All right. So you actually being able to have useful information instead of the credentials is going to serve you better. All right. So I like that comment a lot. Sorry, I'm like scrolling up and down. So making make all of them make all of your team watch it. Y'all start like buying each other. It's like whoever wins trivia buys everyone coffee this week. I love it. All right. So I think I got all the questions answered, right? Let's check. I'm just scrolling up and down again. Yeah, Nicole's nodding. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. So I wanted to cover that because there were so many great questions that were coming in, especially as we came up around our date. We have already trivia next week. And the following week, we are going back to talking about denials in a software. So we're going back into OPM and talking about denial management. So if you are someone who's like ready to go back into the conversation of rejections and denials, you just hang on for a couple more weeks and we will get right back to it. And come back next week because we are going to be we're going to be diving into trivia, and next week we're going to go into medical billing because it's Mastering Medical Billing Month once more here at Inlera University as we gear up for the program start on March 11th. All right. Well, if there are any other questions that come up, feel free to pop them into the comments and we will take a look at them again. And we just want to take a special moment. I can't talk. To thank our members, our channel members. The moment is so special that the words, they couldn't formulate. Thank you so much to all these wonderful people for contributing to the channel to allow us to do this great work. We're so incredibly thankful for each and every one of you. And we want to know what you need and what you'd like us to be producing for you, our channel members. So don't forget to communicate with us. Let us know what you want to see. You guys are top of the list for those requests, and we'll make sure we get that out to you for you as soon as possible. All right, my friends, we're going to let you get back to your day. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you in the next video.